I bought the entire new series of minifigures and upgraded each one of them. If you have a boring minifigure, today you'll learn how to turn it into a cool character. So watch the video until the end and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like the minifigure upgrade ideas. The Space series of minifigures turned out to be the most challenging to upgrade out of all the series. However, the characters I made turned out to be some of the most interesting. In the very first box, I got a beautiful minifigure of the constellation of Orion. The constellation itself is depicted on the shield piece. You can see the silhouette of Orion himself, holding a shield in his left hand and a large club in his right. However, LEGO decided to dress the character in armor instead of a regular tunic, so I will turn him into a magical warrior for my fantasy world. I will put on steel shoulder pads and a purple cloak. I will add gray hair, which will give the warrior more fierceness. We will replace the wooden club with a large fantasy sword filled with magical power, and place a shield made of cosmic energy in the left hand. In my fantasy world, there are already dark elves, who summon dark creatures from the magical realm using portals. The game cards for this faction for the Caldaria board game will soon be available on my Patreon, where you can already find the game rules and cards for other characters. This character will be a moon guardian who lives in a magical world and constantly fights dark creatures, preventing them from entering other worlds. I will also use the shield from the minifigure and add it to the Archmage's chamber. There is already a telescope here, so the constellation will perfectly complement the workspace of the Archmage. In the next box, I got an equally cool minifigure. I really liked it, and it already looks beautiful enough to add to my collection. This is a flying saucer with an alien who is flying through space and apparently heading towards us on Earth. The figure has the same print as the stand, and together they look really cool. I will remove the spaceship itself and instead add large black shoulder pads. In the front, I will place an eye from the LEGO L set, and in the back, I will put on a black cloak to hide the image of our planet. I am using the head from the Dementor minifigure from Harry Potter, and the character will have a black vial in its hand. This will be a huge and powerful world eater, a great cosmic deity that feeds on the life energy of inhabited planets. It can be used for the world of fantasy as well as other themes, for example, space or superheroes. Another minifigure that I really liked is the astronaut with a special backpack for moving in open space. This backpack is a new unique detail in LEGO. It features additional tiles with cool prints and 2 controllers for flight operation. The figure itself is also done very well, but I would replace the head with a flesh color piece. I took this from the Luke Skywalker minifigure. I would have left this character as is, but since we are building a custom, I will take this new backpack piece, add 2 long mechanical tentacles from the Dr. Octavius minifigure, replacing one of the parts with a drill piece, a few grill pieces, and a special sensor. For easier control, I will replace this printed part with a regular joystick. We will assemble the figure from parts of Ant-Man from the Marvel series, Zane's head from Ninjago, and a new dark blue astronaut helmet. This way, we will get a specialist to work with dangerous alien origin rocks. From this figure, you can even assemble a heavy infantryman by replacing the tentacles with 2 rocket launchers. But if you want to build a truly powerful combat unit, then the following minifigure will come in handy. At first glance, this robot looks absolutely useless and not cool enough to add to my minifigure collection. However, I was intrigued by its new unique leg piece. This is a closed chassis on a hydraulic cushion to soften movement. Such a part is perfect for a combat drone design to support infantry. I took several gray pieces to build a base of the unmanned drone. On the sides, I assembled 2 different rapid-fire guns, and on top, I placed a small turret like those on real tanks with an additional gun, and in the front, I attached a shield piece to increase the frontal armor of this combat unit. You can enhance your Special Forces unit or Space Marines in their fight against aliens. The robot's arms can be used for other custom builds. We'll save the torso piece with the boombox design for better times. The next minifigure became one of the most desired for many LEGO enthusiasts. Older fans appreciated that LEGO re-released the Ice Planet Explorer from the old LEGO system sets. Young fans appreciated the cool shoulder pad detail and the new helmet. However, I decided to go further and build a Space Marine to add to the new team of explorers. For this, I used the Commander Cody minifigure from the Star Wars set. I replaced the head with a silver one featuring an orange display, took the shoulder pads from the new LEGO City astronauts, added a few more details, and of course, a new white helmet. This way, the minifigure looks more harmonious. The Marine will be armed with a futuristic blaster and an orange sword from Ninjago for close combat with aliens, and will receive technical support from a specialist droid of the same color. The blue shoulder pad piece can also be used effectively to build a heavy Mandalorian trooper. But to make him more like Paz Vizsla from the Mandalorian series, I also built a heavy blaster machine gun for him. Now you can diversify your Mandalorian army. Since we already have several Space Marines, we will need a medic on the team. For this, the new series of minifigures includes a Space Nanny for space babies. I happen to have an astronaut figure from the previous series, so I can build a real space kindergarten. But I still decided to take the nanny figure and replace its head with a more realistic one. The blue hair already looks cool, but I will replace it with an astronaut helmet of the same color. I will also add a space backpack and a transparent blue piece. You can even use robotic legs to make the figure more futuristic, but I decided to keep the original piece. As special equipment, a laptop from the Vision minifigure will look great, but I will take the screen for the laptop from the research capsule of the Avatar movie. Now this nanny looks more like a space medic or scientist who explores new planets. The idea for the next minifigure in this series seemed interesting to me. It's a small gray alien in tourist clothing with an "I love Earth" inscription and a parachute on its back. I would really like to have a regular minifigure in such clothing in my collection. I didn't like the alien itself, and to be honest, I would prefer the old version of this character with the unique headpiece. So, I took a stone gargoyle figure and added the alien's head to it. In his hand, he will have a special device to implant a chip into a person's head for mind control. Also, with this device, the little gray aliens will be able to abduct a cow for their space burgers. But I liked another alien from this series much more. He looks so cool that I would leave him unchanged. A new unique head, small wings on the back, a cool leg piece, all in dark blue. All that's left is to add sharp claws to turn it into a monster from the magical world or a blaster for a battle with Space Marines. He will definitely appear in the new faction of my fantasy world. Expect this character's game cards on my Patreon. But since we are making custom characters, I will take parts from Avatar, Ninjago, and Nexo Knights. With these, I can build another Night Hunter warrior and add to the squad of new characters that I assembled in the previous video. Using his crescent-shaped blades, this hunter quietly sneaks into enemy territory and kills enemies when they least expect it. Just like the ancient assassins. I spent a long time thinking about what character I could create from the next minifigure. Maybe a pink version of the Vault Dweller from the game Fallout. But a user with the nickname Beyond Bonus came to my aid, showing how to interestingly use this pink retro astronaut. I'll add the metallic colored pug to the rest of the dogs in my collection. For the minifigure itself, I'll replace the upper part of the legs and put on arms of a different color. Instead of a skirt, I will give this character plate armor from a knight in an old series of minifigures. I will choose a cape of the appropriate color and put on a helmet with a golden visor and pink feathers. As equipment, I use a royal sword with a gold coating and a shield with a crown emblem. This way, you can diversify your fantasy world with a new interesting character, a noble warrior. And like any noble knight, she should have her own banner bearer. Let's take the torso piece from the same knight, add the skirt from our minifigure, a knight's helmet, and a royal sword, and of course, the knight's banner. And these warriors will serve a kind and noble queen. In the next box, there is another reissue of an old minifigure. It would be simply amazing if LEGO made a minifigure with double arms and modified green legs on both sides. But they only did it halfway, and now building a custom from this minifigure becomes more difficult. However, I will still try. I will take the torso piece and arms from an old anime-style minifigure, replace the hand, and add a captain's cane. I will put a purple cape and commander epaulets on the shoulders, and use the head from a Ninjago minifigure. This is how I was able to build an admiral of an alien race's spaceship. And he will be served by several ordinary aliens, assembled from a Hulk Woman minifigure. And with the remaining parts, I will build the fastest racer named Jan Conrad, who competes in races with his speedy white Lamborghini.
All we know is red rum, red rum, red rum,
Another reissue of an old minifigure is some kind of space explorer with the letter M on his chest. However, my attention was immediately drawn to his red shooter, which he uses to lift heavy objects. The belt of this device is very similar to the belt from a blaster machine gun, but unfortunately, the belt and the shooter turned out to be a single piece, so I had to work quite hard. However, I still managed to build a portable heavy machine gun for a clone trooper. With such a unit, your squad of Coruscant guards will be able to handle even heavy droids. Well, the most challenging character in the space series of minifigures for me turned out to be a robot of small aliens disguised as an ordinary human. On the head of the minifigure, we see a drawing of a cockpit, and on the back, a small door on the spine. It's very difficult to make something interesting out of this robot, so I'll just replace the arms and head, making a robot in the style of Futurama. The small aliens can be used to represent squads of orcs and trolls on a tactical board, or as a toy for a child. Well, if you have any ideas on how to interestingly use this minifigure, be sure to write about it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because very soon I will be upgrading a new series of minifigures based on the game Dungeons and Dragons.